For one thing about the guitar, it's always a handy instrument to have around.
The reason why the guitar works, I think, is because I can make all sorts of crazy noises with it, as well as play really peaceful sounding stuff.
No matter what you play on the guitar, it sounds great.
They're just great instruments. The guy that designed the guitar, some caveman somewhere, man, whatever. Great design. You know, stick with a string and something hollow here is great, man. What a great idea.
The story of the electric guitar is very much an American story. It's the story of an instrument born out of necessity when the rural bluesmen migrated to the cities and needed to be heard in their new urban environment. But once amplified, the acoustic guitar became a whole new instrument.
Les, they just won't fit, that's all.
Well, why don't we get your mind off of it and let's do How High the Moon.
Les Paul, a popular jazz player throughout the 40s and 50s, was one of the first to say that the electric acoustic was the beginning of a new world. Les, now 76, plays every week in New York's Fat Tuesdays.
On an acoustical instrument, one note would resonate much louder than the next note, one would sustain longer than the next one, so it was not consistent. And so the first thing I want to do is get something that was reliable, that you could make two of them, make them sound alike. It happened in 1941 when I told my friends I was going to go over to the Epiphone factory and make a 4x4 log. And here it is right here. And I would just string it up and try it. And I tried it and I said, this is the answer to all the answers to this thing. My backyard in California was full of a lot of talented people. One of them being Leo Fender. And old Leo was looking at this thing, and he says, what are you going to do with that log? And I says, well, I'm trying to convince Gibson. Leo says, you know, I'm thinking of making one of these things. Would you like to go with me on it? And I said, no, I'll stick with Gibson. I'll convince him sooner or later.
Gibson didn't take the solid body guitar very seriously. Late in the 40s, when Fender introduced the Telecaster, which was the first production solid body, after Fender started to sell quite a few, Gibson began to pay closer attention. At that time, they went and found Les Paul again. Les had a solid body design that Gibson had rejected, saying, we'd never produce anything like that, it's just a plank. At that point, they said, let's go find this man with a broomstick again.
So the Les Paul guitar was born, and I said, I want that action way down low, and I want this, I want that, boy. And it was tough for Gibson. So a lot of gray hairs up at Gibson. Until you will, I'll still my heart, high the moon.
It worked, Les.
When Leo Fender started making the solid body Fender guitar, it came out really big. And that solid body guitar started a whole new world. I mean, it had a great sound, a great effects, and then Les Paul came out with his guitars, his solid body guitars, which created a whole different sound, different market. The guitar became the largest selling item we had in the store. Where before it used to be trumpets and trombones and saxophones and bass fiddles, now it was electric basses and solid body guitars.
In the years before the advent of the solid body, the electric guitar was already proving itself as a virtuoso instrument in the hands of its first playing genius. Charlie Christian, Benny Goodman's guitarist in the early 40s, was giving the guitar a voice that would transform it from rhythm to lead status.
Charlie Christian's success caused really an immeasurable change in that there were people, they heard Charlie Christian, and they say that when they heard them, they lost their minds. And I think they don't mean it, maybe literally, but they became obsessed with that sound. Previously, maybe they liked the guitar, maybe they were playing acoustic guitar, but hearing that electric sound changed their lives, got them to pick up electric guitars or put pickups on their acoustic instruments and start wailing.